Nick, was
Coach,
there a
after
point?
giving up 40 points last year to Clemson, what are the differences that your defense needs to make from last year to this year to contain Watson?
Well, you know, Clemson's a very good offensive team. They present a lot of challenges. I think you have to give them a lot of credit for what they were able to accomplish last year. We didn't really always execute as well as we'd like against them. We made some mental errors and things that they took advantage of that I think it's going to be very important that we don't do things like that. But there's a lot of challenges there. I mean, they've got really good receivers. They've got a really good quarterback. They've got a good running game. They've got a good scheme, run and pass. It's tied together very well. So it's going to be really important for us to do a really good job of executing together as a unit. And we're going to have to play extremely well in all areas, up front, linebackers, secondary, and trying to execute against the quality of people that we're going to play against.
And Minka said this week that not only is Clemson looking for revenge, but the defense for Alabama is as well, trying to improve on last year. Do you agree with that? That maybe this defense is a chip on their shoulder going into this game?
Well, I think a lot of our players last year came out of this game, even though we won, not feeling like we played really well on defense. So, you know, hopefully that's a bit of a motivating factor for our guys to try to do a better job this year.
Nick, when you decided to recruit Jalen, did it represent a change in maybe what you wanted from a quarterback, or was it just based on sort of the individual and what you saw?
Well, I think that early on in sort of our philosophy of quarterbacks, you know, we were a little bit more in the beginning at Alabama and other places that we've been sort of a pro-style approach in offense. So we look for a pro-style quarterback and maybe didn't put the emphasis on athleticism. And then when we played with Blake Sims, who was a very good athlete, we sort of said, look, the way college football has changed, the way offense has changed, the spread, the RPOs, the issues that it creates defensively when you have an athletic quarterback who still has to be able to throw the ball effectively, and we still have our elements of pro style in our system. We actually are probably looking for, if we can find the kind of guy that can be a pro-style quarterback but is athletic enough to challenge the defense as well. So I think we philosophically changed a bit, and Jalen certainly fit that. But I think we would have recruited Jalen 10 years ago because we were impressed with him as a passer as well.
Nick, when you brought
and think about like you mean the state of Alabama?
Well, you know, when you're in a leadership position, I think that you would like to think that you're being somebody that somebody wants to emulate, that maybe you affect other people because you care in a positive way. So if that's true, then we would be pleased that we were able to accomplish that.
Coach, you haven't played too many cold weather games. It's going to be the coldest game in the playoffs CFP history. When was the last time your team played in a game that was under 50 degrees, and does that matter in any way, shape, or form?
Well, I hope it doesn't matter. You know, I've played in a lot of games where it was less than 0. So to me, that's not a bad weather game, but I guess to our players it would be. But I don't really think that it should be a factor in the game. I think when it's less than 32 degrees, that this is me in the old days coaching at the Cleveland Browns or Michigan State or Syracuse or someplace where it really got cold, that when it got less than that, I think it really physically can affect players in terms of the energy that you use to stay warm versus the energy that you use to try to play and execute. I think if it's 50 degrees, I think it may be a little uncomfortable, but I don't think it really should affect anyone's ability to play the game.
Would you rather have this played in the dome? I mean, you have to play. Would you rather have it in a dome, or would you?
I don't really have a choice. I mean, I think the field's going to be 53 yards wide and 100 yards deep wherever you play. The numbers are going to be the numbers. The hash mark's going to be the hash mark. So I don't think it matters. I don't think it should matter to the players.
Nick, what if for you wake up every season and you're looking at a national championship? Most coaches around the country wake up and they're trying to win a conference championship. What sets you apart? What have you been able to create at Alabama and even at LSU? How do you do it? How do you cope with it?
Well, we don't ever talk about winning a national championship. We don't ever talk about winning the SEC championship. We basically talk about what do we need to do with every individual in our organization to help them be as good as they can be. That's how we start, and that's how we stay. And we talk about what do you have to do as a player to dominate your box, whether it's technical execution, physical development, attitude development, whatever it might be, to try to help you be the best player. And our pyramid for success is we got to be a team, so everybody's got to respect and trust the principles and values of the organization and each other. And everybody's got to have a positive attitude about what we're trying to accomplish as a group, which is for you to be all you can be as a person, as a student, and as a football player. And then everybody's got to be responsible for their own self-determination. And you've got to make the choices and decisions to do the things that you need to do to have a chance to be all you can be. And that takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of perseverance. It takes an ability to overcome adversity, because things are always not going to go exactly like you planned. And we talk about you got to be a champion before you can win a championship, and that's really what we're trying to develop with our players.
In last year's national championship game, fourth quarter tie game, what gave you the confidence to go for the onside kick, and how did that affect the rest of the game, the onside kick?
Well, sometimes you have things that seem like you're taking a chance, but those are calculated risk. I think that you take based on whether it's the other team's alignment or something that you can take advantage of, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. And we had worked on that and thought by the way they were lined up, we had an opportunity to be able to execute it, and the players did a really good job of executing it. And I felt like the way the game was going at the time and the respect that we had for them and their offense, that it was a little bit like a basketball game. And when the basketball game comes down to the last 2 minutes, you'd rather be tied with the ball than tied with the other team having the ball. So we wanted to try to create something, and we were able to score on the next drive. So that I think that helped us gain momentum in the game, and I think it helped us finish the game.
Nick, you brought in Sark right after the season had already started. When did you first meet with him, and given how his USC time ended, what did you need to hear from him to feel confident he'd be a good fit with your program?
Sark came in during fall camp just to visit and stayed with us for a week. And we spent some time together during that time. He watched practice. I asked for his observations. Before he left, he said he was supposed to do some TV work or something. But he would really like to get involved in a program someplace, and if there was any opportunity for him to do it here. And I liked him in the week that he spent with us, and I told him, I said, there may be some opportunity for you to do that here, But since we play USC first, I'd rather wait until after that game until we sort of do it, because I wouldn't want people to think that we're trying to bring you in to create some advantage or whatever. And that's basically what we did, and I think he was helpful all year long in helping in the planning and assisting in some of the things that we did all year long, and so I think it worked out well.
You've had so much success for such a long period of time. Clemson is hungry, they're ready for revenge. How do you keep your team hungry? What is the mentality that you try to instill?
Well, I think it's all about this team and what they've created for themselves and the opportunity that they have, and I think all those things that you just said are probably true, but we control how we think, what we do, what's meaningful to us. I think our players have to understand that we played in a lot of games this year where, we always see those signs that say we want Bama. And so this is not unique for us.
How do you make them think like a champion?
I'm sorry?
You said earlier you tell them to think like a champion.
Well,
what
I think
are some
it
of
was
the talks that you have with them?
all the things that I talked about before I said be a champion. That's what we try to do.
Coach, what kind of relationship do you have with Coach Swinney? I think it was reported that last year after the championship game, you guys had dinner somewhere here in Florida, and you told him that Clemson was going to be back here this year in this situation. Is that true? And what kind of off-the-field relationship do you guys have?
I think good. We both have Gasparillo Island, Boca Grande, whatever people call it. We both go there some. And he's had a place there for a long time. We've had a place there for 4 or 5 years now. And because of our schedules, we end up there sometimes at the same time. And Dabo's an Alabama guy, coached Alabama, he's from Alabama, so I've known him for a long time, but this situation sort of offers us the opportunity to get together sometimes and talk about things, and we do that a lot. And I did tell him last year, because of the respect I have for his team and the players they had coming back, that I thought, especially with his quarterbacks coming back and the continuity that would give them, that they would have a great opportunity to be here again next year, or this year now.
What did Jalen provide when he was playing scout team quarterback leading up to this game last year? He said he was playing the role of Deshaun Watson. What did he provide when he was Jalen Hurts he said that he was playing the role of Deshaun Watson on the scout team last year. What did he provide in doing that?
Well, it helped us a lot because he's athletic, and especially on the quarterback run part of it. Because I think sometimes it's hard to find a guy that can execute and do the things that a quarterback like Deshaun Watson can do. So Jalen was very helpful, in that. It's been a little bit more difficult for us this year. We had John Parker do it for a day at home, and we had Blake do it for a day at home. But they obviously couldn't come here on a trip, so we have to use the quarterbacks that we have on the squad, which Cooper does it sometimes for us as well.